Hi everyone, I'm Carrie Perry.
And I'm Flora Pastorero.
And this is Chick2Chick. Well, Father's Day is coming up, Flora.
Yes, it is.
It is one of those times that I always think about what it was like to be around my dad, and I always look at what Todd has with all of his girls. It's kind of a fun memory lane kind of trip for us.
Yeah. Fathers are very, very important in a child's life. And there's something, too, about, Daddy's little girl.
Yeah.
And I was Daddy's little girl. I have two older brothers, and I think I had a different relationship with him.
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah.
There's something about a little girl that pulls on a daddy's heartstrings.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that when you were growing up, when you could see the relationships between your brothers? And
yeah, you know how to play it, you know how to work it, and you know how to get what you want. You do. Now, you were at a disadvantage because you have how many sisters?
Well, I have two other sisters, but I'm the oldest.
Yeah, but you had three Daddy's little girl there.
I did, but there's a big enough age difference.
But you were his favorite?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I have awesome sisters.
And they're listening right now, too.
And they're listening.
Yeah.
I would say the advantage that I had is that I am a lot of years older. My sister Mandy and I are 8.5 years apart. And
really?
Then, yeah. And then there's Meg, and that's like 12.5 years apart or something like that. So I had a lot of time with my dad. And, my parents had divorced when I was really, really little. So I even had that extra special, weekends with my dad. We would go to my grandparents' house or, wherever he was when he was living in his apartment before he married my stepmom. And I had some fun times with my dad. Maybe sometimes, I don't know. I can tell you something that's really funny. Back in the day, you could get in a car without being in a car seat, and you could enjoy just cruising around anywhere in a car.
You were bumping around all over the back like a ping pong ball.
Do you know my dad? Sorry, this is so funny. This is in the later 70s. My dad would let me sit on his lap. He had a Datsun 280Z. He'd let me sit on his lap and drive on parts of the road.
You just admitted that?
Yeah,
they might call social services on your dad now.
Good luck. He'll have them chatting and laughing. They'll be best friends and going to the diner afterwards. But I have some really fun memories with my dad.
You know what, though? You brought something up that's really interesting. You said your parents split up.
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
I was about 2 years old.
2 years old.
I have no recollection.
You have no, but you still had time with your dad.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
had that relationship, and I'm divorced, and my husband and we split up when I was 2, and
when Sean was 2.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
You were 2.
No,
give me a break.
When Sean was 2, we split up, but Sean's dad was always in his life. He continues to be in his life. He saw him every single day. And I think that a lot of people, they split up, there's divorce, and then the parents might start to bicker, and one tries to keep the other one out of the child's life.
Yep.
And I really, really think that's a bad idea. I think that's 100%. A bad idea on either end. Yeah. On either end, whether it's the mom trying to keep the dad out of the child's life or the dad trying to keep the mom out of the child's life, I really think that is a bad idea. And the parent needs to be in the child's life, whether the mom and dad are together or whether they're split up. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I was really fortunate because my parents maintained a friendship. And even when they remarried, the friendships with spouses and then with the other kids, when my sisters came along and my brother, everybody remained very amicable. And I never ever felt a distance with my father. I never felt that if I went and did something with my father, my mom was going to be upset about it. I just never felt that.
Well, that's good.
I don't know any different. So, you know, and Father's Day is funny. My dad's a huge Penn State fan, as we all are. I mean, that's kind of where I became a Penn State fan, through my father. Father's Day was marked with getting him a new Penn State T-shirt. God bless you, Dad. I don't even know how many you probably still have, because you don't grow out of anything.
Easy, huh?
He was super easy, but he was always the dad. This is the sweetest thing about my dad. My dad loved cards. He's a big thing of, where's my card, you know? And of course, when you're little, you know, you make cards. And he will be going through old memorabilia, and even to this day, he'll come over. He came over with a Hess's box. That's how old Hess's. Hess's was a department store from 6,000 years ago. He came over with a box, and it had the cutest things that I gave him. And I said to him, I gave them to you. Why are you giving them back to me? But that's how nostalgic he is. He's kind of taught me to be like that.
Those little things meant a lot to him.
Absolutely.
So you're coming at it, you know, you remember your dad, your parents were split up. My parents were together forever. I had a little bit of a different experience, of course. Yeah. My father was an immigrant and came over here from Italy. And boy, see, now I'm going to start to get emotional, and I got to stop for a moment.
It's okay.
My father passed away 6 years ago. And boy, he just, family was everything to him. Family was everything to him. His kids were everything to him. And to him, like, everything was a teachable moment. Everything. We're sitting at the dinner table. He'd tell me what he read in the newspaper. Something would come up on television. He used all of these things to teach me about life, about finances. He really wanted his kids to have a better life than he did. And what's so remarkable is that my father really didn't have a father figure in his life. My father and my grandmother were in Italy, and my grandfather was here in America. And he was sending money over. So my father did not have his own father in his life his entire childhood. Wow. And when he turned 18, my grandmother said to him, it's time now. It's time for you to go to America and go spend time with your father. And so he did. And I think about that. Like, he was 18 years old, Carrie, and he got on a boat by himself. He had $5 in one pocket and a note in the other pocket. And he was on this boat for a month by himself at 18. Imagine. Can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine.
Like, my son's gone for 20 minutes, and I'm like, where are you? Yeah. Why didn't you text me?
Well,
when are you coming home?
Been gone for so long, but I know where she is every step of the way. I can't imagine just putting my child on a boat. That was a very selfless act. Right. That his mother did. Well, both of them. That's amazing.
Well, he gets on this boat. He's by himself on this boat, goes to New York, and then takes the train to Pittsburgh. Now, remember, he's never seen his father. He doesn't even know what his father looks like.
Oh, my word.
Yes.
Not even in photos?
No. Wow. Never saw a photo, didn't know what his father even looked like. And when I tell this story, what cracks me up is people will say to me, oh, see, your grandparents were divorced. No, they weren't divorced. No. My grandfather was here in America because the war had gone on in Italy, and he was making money, and he was sending money back to Italy.
He was taking care of his family.
He was taking care of his family. No, my grandparents were not divorced. They were separated for all those years. But my father, again, comes into New York, takes the train into Pittsburgh. He gets off the train, and this man comes up to him, and he says to him in Italian, "Come ti chiamo?" What's your name? And my father says, my name's Abraham, and he says, I'm your father.
Oh.
And that was it. And that was it. He went with this man.
It's like a movie.
You can't make this stuff up.
No,
he went with his father. So anytime there is this moment in my life where I might be afraid or I have fear of something, I think the bravery, how brave that was for him to do that. How brave that was for him to get on this boat, on this ship, and sail across and come to America not knowing a word of English. How brave was it for him to go with a man he'd never met before?
No. Well, the bravery started with your grandfather. I mean, he set that tone that I bet your dad was thinking, if my father was willing to sacrifice being with his family to make a better life for all of us, I can man up. I can do this. His father gave him that ability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Now I know who you are.
Yeah, now you get it.
My goodness.
Now you get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you are.
this is the person who raised me. This is the person who taught me everything. This is the person who, when I have difficult situations, I think, you know, what would my dad say? What would my dad, what would he want me to do? How would he handle it? So if he could do that, I can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, and his favorite thing was, you know, you got to keep moving. You got to keep going. You know, I remember when I was getting divorced and I was devastated. And he said to me, you're not the first person to get divorced and you're not going to be the last person. Now get up and get moving because your son needs you.
Right, right.
And so
keep living your life.
That's where I get that moxie from. Mm-hmm. That's the way I was raised. And so he's just really left this mark on my heart that he's not with me physically, but he is with me.
Oh, yeah.
He's with me every day.
Yeah. I think that's a beautiful story. I think that we are both fortunate because you have those life lessons that you're still going on with in your mind and in your heart with your dad. I still can see my father. I'm very blessed. My dad is still with us. The man's like, he'll be 80 real soon, and he doesn't look it at all. He certainly doesn't act it. My father.
Yeah, he's lively, young at heart.
Yes, very much. My dad always taught me one thing that, it's stuck in my craw when I was growing up, but I thank him for this. Sometimes you just have to do the things you don't want to do. If I heard that once, I've heard it 1,000 times in my head for a lot of different things. And I love that he gave me the gift of that. It was uncomfortable at times because you don't want to do the things that you don't want to do. But out of that, I learned that more often than not, I got something out of it that was incredibly valuable and important. You know, he always pushed me to try something once. Just try it once.
Just try it.
That's all you got to do is try it.
Spinach.
Try it once.
Brussels sprouts.
Try it once. Chew it a little, spit it back out. I like them now. The one thing is about my dad is, you know, we have a love of winter sports, skiing specifically. This is no joke.
Yep.
And my dad, I think if he had had a boy, he would have pushed him in a lot of sports because my father was very much an athlete. When I was learning to ski, I devastated him the first time around. I was 2, so come on, I was just a little peanut. And he put me on skis between his leg and I bawled my head off the entire way down. And he was like, oh no, like, you know, completely devastated. But several years later, he had never raced except for just, you know, having fun with his ski patrol buds. But he wanted me to do it. And I was very, very scared to do it. I'm bawling my head off and crying and crying. He puts me at the top of this race and he said, I just want you to do it once. You never have to do it again if you don't want to do it. And I skied down that thing and I had like a coat hanger stuck in my mouth of a smile by the time I got to the bottom of it. And my dad was so excited. And I don't think he was just excited that I did it. But now as a parent, I think it was because he pushed me to do something that he knew I was really sad and uncomfortable about. And I'm sure that made him sad to see me cry, to do something I didn't want to do. But the reward was, I loved it. He did the right thing as a parent by pushing me. And so, you know, my dad has always been that kind of cheerleader for me. And again, I do it with my own children. And like you, I think of things that might feel a little challenging and rough. And I go, you just got to do it just this once. Just see what happens. So thanks for that one, Daddy.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that sweet? And I bet he got so much joy out of seeing you and thinking, I got her to do that.
And then we raced together. So we would do these father-daughter races for Equitable Family Ski Challenge. My mom and I did them too. But we did that for a while. And there's just nothing that is more fun and exciting than to do something with your children. So like you do your traveling with Sean, you bond over that. I got a chance to bond with my dad skiing, and now my dad does that with the grandkids. There's nothing cooler than sitting on a chairlift, and it's my dad and me and one or a couple of my children. How cool is that? It's a generational thing, and we're out having fun. The man hasn't blown out a hip yet. He's got two. Well, he hasn't. He's got two titanium hips. I swear, he really does. And so he can still get down there. He can do some bumps if he wants to do some bumps. But anyway, it's so much fun because he is that kind of granddad now. He was as a dad. It's just cool to see him carry that on. I bet your dad just like ate up Sean.
Well, he did. I mean, he just adored him. But I'm just laughing in my head because you guys bonded over skiing, and we bonded over making wine, making Italian sausage.
But that's great.
Planting a garden.
Aww.
So, and he just, oh yeah, he just could not get enough of Sean. And he actually, you know, Sean was little and he was teaching him, come on out here. Pap wants to show you how to plant things. And Sean would be out planting things in the garden. My father was really like a simple man. He was just simple. He didn't want anything. He didn't need anything. He didn't ask for anything. He had his family, and he was satisfied, and he'd be happy being out in the garden for 2-3 hours every night.
Aww.
So those were the memories that he made. And I mean, I really wish he was still here today. I wish he was here to see Sean and to see what a fine young man that he's grown into. But I'm blessed that he was there for his childhood. And, you know, Sean has great memories of him. And he would say so many funny things that just, you know, and he was like this all the time with his Italian accent. And I have all of these great memories. But boy, dads, you are so important in your children's life. Don't forget that. You are so important. And if you think you're not making a difference, boy, they really are. They really are.
Absolutely. I don't know if my life would have been, if certain things would have happened in my life the way that I wanted them to without the support of my dad. A great support from my mom, but it's really healthy to have a relationship with your father, especially as a female, I think. That's really, really super important. So I say happy Father's Day to my dad. It's every day for him, but you know, and for you, it makes me sad that you don't have your dad physically here, but you're a faithful person, and you and I have talked about the fact that your dad's there.
He's with me every day.
He's probably right behind you.
He is.
He's got to be like right here.
I can feel him.
See, there you go.
See, I'm scared right now.
I can smell wine.
I'm scared right now.
No, don't be scared.
He's here.
He's so proud of you.
You say happy Father's Day to your dad, and I say happy Father's Day to my Father in heaven. And happy Father's Day to all of the dads out there. Again, you are so important to your children, and you really, really just on those difficult days, remember, you're making an impact.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if you want to hear more from us, and more importantly, we want to hear from you too, you can always connect with us on any of our social media. We have Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and of course, Chick2Chick at PennWatch.org is a great place to connect with us and shoot us some suggestions. That's where you can check out our podcast.
Yep, we would love to hear from you. So until next time, until we're back to chirp about another topic, happy Father's Day.